is easily my second favorite superhero, and it's pretty easy to see why. His arsenal of good gadgets, his strength and willpower, his life mission to ensure no other kid has to suffer the way he did when he was younger. He is just awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Ben Affleck's take on him in the upcoming Batman v Superman movie. But let's take a trip into the way back machine and see how, for many people, when they thought of Batman, they thought of a slightly chubby guy having awkwardly choreographed fights. However, in recent decades, the public perception of Batman has returned to a dark, brooding Avenger of the Night. Why? Well, it all goes back to this book, 1985's The Dark Knight Returns, written by Frank Miller and illustrated by Miller and Lynn Varley. These days, Frank Miller's become a bit of a punchline on the internet, thanks to his awful stories, a rant he made about Occupy Wall Street back in 2011, and most notoriously for Holy Terror, a dreadful book about a Batman stand-in killing Muslims, which I've never read, nor will I ever. But let's try to ignore all of this and ask, does this book still hold up? Is it really that good that it deserves to be the go-to inspiration for just about every Batman project since? The answer? Mostly yes. The plot of this book is that Bruce Wayne is now in his mid-50s and quit crime fighting sometime after the death of Jason Todd, the second Robin, about 2 years before DC actually killed him, mind you. Between that time, the US government's outlawed superheroes. Not sure how you do that, but whatever. Wonder Woman's returned to her people, Superman is now a pawn in the US's foreign policy, and Bruce Wayne's become a reclusive alcoholic. Gotham City's now overrun by a new group of criminals called the Mutants, who terrorize the streets, killing and robbing civilians, with the police and local government powerless to help. This new wave of violence motivates Bruce Wayne to once again become the Caped Crusader and save his beloved city one last time. Along the way, he also gets a new Robin named Carrie Kelly, a high school student. Carrie's a real joy of a character, giving the story some much-needed levity and earning Batman's respect as a good soldier in her own right. It's a real shame she hasn't been seen much in other media, although it is rumored that she'll appear in Batman v Superman. Please be true, please be true. However, Batman finds that he isn't just fighting against mutants. Gotham's newest police commissioner, Cindy Yindel, puts out an arrest warrant. Batman's return causes an old enemy to snap out of a decades-long stupor. And finally, the US government notices Batman and sends an old ally to try and take him down. The story was a true epic when it was originally released, with it and Alan Moore's Watchmen, showing the general public that superhero comics can be more than just cheap kids fodder. Is it a perfect story? Mostly. If I had to knock it, I'd say the constant interludes between talking TV reporters, commentary on the then recent invention of 24-hour news, gets a little bit distracting, and the Cold War subplot is pretty dated. Also, some of the more troubling themes Miller would feature in his later work have some of their genesis here. However, they're not as blatant as they are in those books, so they are easier to ignore. In the end, it's a darn good book and easily one of my favorite Batman stories. While The Dark Knight Returns is a great story in its own right, it's also kind of fascinating as a phenomena. See, most of Batman's public perception came from this book. It, along with The Killing Joke, helped inspire the original Tim Burton films, which ended up inspiring the Batman animated series, which ended up begetting the entire DC animated universe. Whenever a new Batman movie comes along, you can bet the creators will talk about this book a lot as an inspiration. The Dark Knight Rises had some similar plot points, and even a line of dialogue taken from the comic. And the producers of Batman v Superman actually read a line from Dark Knight Returns to let the audience at Comic-Con know what they were going for. While I still like and have an appreciation for a silly interpretation of Batman, the darker version that we see here is the one that most people have clearly latched onto. For better or worse, The Dark Knight Returns is the reason why, when most people think of Batman, they're more likely to think of than they do.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Whether or not that's a good thing is up to you. Dark Knight Returns is available in both a single trade paperback and in digital download. Since it's one of the most popular Batman stories ever written, it's a pretty easy book to hunt down. Or if you're interested, there was also a 2-part animated adaptation released a few years ago that's also pretty darn good. I'm still on a bit of a good Frank Miller vibe, so next time, let's talk about another character that he did some great work with. One who's also gotten pretty popular lately. Next time, Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. Till then, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at LittleWebhead87. Have a good one.